There's this song by Peggy Lee, and it's called Is That All There Is?
Is That All There Is by Peggy Lee?
It's, I don't know, maybe it's not a song for everybody. It's a little bit gauche, I think that's the word I'm thinking of. It's really about disillusionment of life. You know, it starts off with there's a fire, and she's a little girl, and
I remember when I was a little girl, our house caught on fire.
her whole house burns down, and her daddy's holding her, and she looks at her whole world burning down, and it's like she just thinks, is that all there is to a fire?
Is that all there is to a fire?
And then later she's, you know, at a circus, and it's great, but is that all there is to a circus?
Is that all there is?
Then she falls in love, and it's so wonderful, and they're just so deeply in love. And
Just sit for hours gazing into each other's eyes. We were so very much in love.
and then he leaves her,
And I thought I'd die, but I didn't.
and she thinks, is that all there is to love? And then it all comes to this point where she's starting to sing the chorus, is that all there is? Is that all there is? And she says, oh, I know what you're gonna say. If you really feel that way about everything, why don't you just end it? Why don't you just go ahead and so the climax of this song is that she's not gonna do that because she doesn't want to be disappointed by the final thing, which is death.
I'm not ready for that final disappointment.
She doesn't want to be disappointed by that just yet. She's not ready. Inspiration. What inspired this song? The song was inspired by the 1896 story Disillusionment by Thomas Mann. Jerry Lieber's wife, Gabby Rogers, was born in Germany and lived in the Netherlands. She escaped ahead of the Nazis, settling in Hollywood, where she had a brief film career. She introduced Lieber to the works of Thomas Mann. The lines, is that all there is to a fire? Is that all there is? Is that all there is? And the three events in the song are the fire, the failed love, the imagined death, and they're all based on the narrator's words in Mann's story. The central idea of both the short story and the song are the same. How old was Peggy Lee in 1969? That's my question. Okay, so she was 49 years old. Okay, what's the point of all this? The point of all this, and why I'm talking about, is that all there is? At 49 years old, it's past the Uranus opposition. That's what this video is about, by the way. The Uranus opposition. The Uranus opposition is kind of a critical one that people don't talk about. I mean, when I started my YouTube channel, it was because of the Uranus opposition. It was before my Uranus opposition. I was building up to it, and I felt something so strong. Another good song. I felt something so strong inside of me that I just couldn't hold it back anymore. I knew there was something that I had to express, something that I had to do, and it was risky. It was a risky thing. It was risky. Why? Because putting yourself on the internet, talking about esoteric, philosophical, astrological, occult kind of things, it's very odd. It's not something that I expected to be doing at all. And to have the Uranian push behind me to do that, it forced me to do it, and it's really changed my life in so many ways. I am so completely different. I mean, you can even watch the trail of how I'm evolving on YouTube. I mean, my entire Uranus opposition is basically my YouTube channel up until now. So yeah, for me, it was a first house planet. So it was pretty personal. It was about self-expression. So not everybody that's going to get their Uranus opposition is going to be on YouTube or doing whatever like this. It was more designed towards that. And it was also about renegotiating some elements of partnership and balance and being able to take something that I wanted, whereas before I didn't feel like I had maybe not the guts, but I don't know. It's such a strange thing to try to express. I think what I'm trying to say here is I can really see myself in that position of Peggy Lee. I can see myself on the other side of that fork, okay? My choice was here or here. Make a risk and do this thing that's sort of bizarre and weird, and you're showing this authenticity that it's not going to be for everybody, or you don't. And if I would have taken the road of you don't, I can see myself in that same disillusionment position as the Peggy Lee character in the song, Is That All There Is? Is that all there is? Is that all there is? Is that all there is to life? Like not doing the thing that you know you have to do. But sometimes it's so difficult to get to the point where you have the ability even, have the ability, have the strength, have the foundation, have the trust in yourself to make that decision to do something that's Uranian. If you haven't had your Uranus opposition yet, it occurs somewhere between ages 36 to 44, and it can happen one time if it doesn't retrograde, or it can happen 3 times if it goes back and forth. Most people get it about 3 times, but sometimes it's just once. But if you haven't had it yet, it's really good to know about. If you have already had it, then it's important to look back at it, because we always have a choice. The Uranus opposition, it occurs, we make decisions, and they trail with us, they come along with us. And we can always unravel, we can untie that knot and kind of go back to it if we didn't make a decision that led to the things that could have led to, like maybe we didn't take the opportunity. If we go back and analyze it, we can maybe reactivate it. Having a hard time crystallizing what I want to say about this, but what I think I want to say is we don't want to get to the point where we don't take the risks, we don't take the chances, even though they could be destabilizing in some way, difficult in a lot of ways, not expected, doing something that is like, what are you doing? If we don't take it, then we might get to the point in our life where we're sitting there going, is that all there is? Is that all there is? The Uranus opposition is one of these things that there's a couple of them that happen in the midlife, and they're called the midlife transits. In other words, it's the midlife crisis transits. We all live to this age, get them, okay? And the midlife crisis was not even a thing until 1965. In 65, this psychoanalyst, Elliot James, introduced the term, and it was basically this understanding of experiences of middle age. And the midlife crisis became really popular at describing why men and women around the age 40 become disillusioned with work, disenchanted with relationships, detached from family responsibilities. And they were trying to figure out if it was a manifestation of psychological or biological change. The psychoanalyst Jacques, he started thinking about it in 1952. That was his concept. He was age 35. So he was in this personal reflection period, analyzing himself, and he was reading Dante's Inferno, which is about a midlife journey into and eventually through darkness and depression. And so he found the lines of Inferno to be very beautiful. And he wrote many years later that it melded with his own inner experience of the midlife struggle with its vivid sense of meaning and personal death. So 35, 36, that can be when a Uranus opposition is coming online. It's pretty amazing. So he wrote his paper called Death and the Midlife Crisis. Jacques argued that in the middle years of life, it was a phase when the adult life had been lived, which seems a little strange to say that, ages 36 to 44, that feeling like, oh, I'm already kind of done. That's a different paradigm. I think things have changed a lot since then. But things were different not that long ago. But this is what he was coming through, that adjustment to a new set of circumstances was necessary. Work and family had been established. Parents had grown old. Children were at the threshold of adulthood. The paradox is that entering the prime of life, the stage of fulfillment, but at the same time, the prime and fulfillment are dated. Death lies beyond. So basically what he's saying is that the midlife is actually the prime of life, but you also are seeing the finish line. One of the things that Jacques was noticing is the people that weren't really established in healthy marriages or in good careers, stuff, whatever, that old days kind of metrics of did you do a good job? That a lot of that was leading to dissatisfaction at the period of the midlife, dissatisfaction with responsibilities, infidelity with younger, more athletic accomplices, a psychological immaturity. This is a quote directly from his article. It's a paradox of life that we do not begin to live until we begin to die. Death begins at 30. That is, deterioration of the muscle cells set in. Most old age is premature, and attention to diet and exercise would enable men and women to live a great deal longer than they do today. The best part of a woman's life begins at 40. So it was called a midlife crisis, of course, but I think nowadays we can probably call it a midlife awakening. It's not so much that life is halfway over or that your children are almost grown up or whatever. It's more about what is it that got left behind, or what is it that's igniting you, something fresh, something new. It can be a period of complete self-discovery, establishing a new structure in your life, or deconstructing a structure. What are your values? What are your life choices? Some greater authenticity and personal freedom. Now, desire for change can be very strong during this period, exploring new interests, significant life-altering decisions, just this urge for independence. If you find yourself sitting here thinking, yeah, that's how I feel like, is that all there is? Then I suggest you initiate a little bit of a conversation with Uranus. Look at your natal Uranus. Where is it? What house is it in? What aspects is it making? Where is it igniting you? It's a little spark that can turn into a huge opportunity of authenticity, change, excitement, doing things differently, flipping the script in a good way. It has to be a personal expression. It has to be a journey that you're taking. If you've been with me here on this channel for a while, my mom, hi mom, I just want to really say thank you. It is a life-changing experience. I'm so blessed and I'm so grateful. And I need to probably wrap this up because I have to take my kid to the DMV. He's going to try to get his permit today to get his driver's license. So I don't have to drive so much anymore. Yay! Some freedom, liberation, freedom from behind the wheel. You can just not drive hours and hours and hours a day. That's all there is to this video. I'll talk to you next time. I like you just the way you are.